everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the
That was the weirdest thing I've ever seen right there.
somehow Jay disappeared during the intro, which is
and all of a sudden, Scott Guy showed up. I mean, that was the funniest thing that I just seen.
That was awesome.
Well, welcome in, everybody. You never know what's going to happen here on the show, and neither do we.
This is the good-looking version of Jay. The bad-looking version disappeared.
That is hilarious. Yeah, I wonder what happened to him. I imagine we're going to see a text here in a second. But
It
how you
was
guys doing
raining.
this morning?
I'm doing wonderful. I had an interesting evening last night, and watched the Phillies pull it out in the ninth inning with a shutout, which was interesting. You know, they brought in all the pitchers, and I was surprised to see that Soto was able to get out of the inning without letting up 6 runs.
Yeah, sadly for my Mariners, they decided they didn't want to play baseball. And, it's one of the things that I talked about before the season even started, that the Mariners always forget how to play baseball out of the All-Star game. And so far, they have managed 1 win after the All-Star break. So something to feel good about. I think they're 3-7 in the last 10, so not exactly killing it here. But on the plus side, Jay's Astros also suck. And so we're able to keep pace, which is nice if we're going to try and do anything. We did put why am I mind blanking the name? We just put a guy.
You talking about Rodriguez?
No. We're keeping J-Rod. No.
You're talking about
Second best hitter on the team.
Oh,
That's what I'm
TJ France. France.
Yeah. So we're putting him up. Man. And I get the idea of they could be doing it to buy, but if I was going to try and dump somebody and get a bat, I probably wouldn't do it with my second best hitter. I'd probably get one of those guys that's batting like 170. I mean, I know you're not going to get anything for him, but you're just creating a roster spot, right? So let's get somebody good in there rather than one of our only productive guys.
Well, I got to imagine that the reason why is that he's probably not allowed to be sent down again.
Yeah, no, he can't be sent down, nor he probably wouldn't want to be either. So they put him on waivers. If he clears waivers, then the Mariners are on the hook. But, after that, anybody can pick him up if they want.
Right.
So basically they're saying we're moving on from you no matter what, which if they don't go find a bat means now they're sellers, because if they don't put anything in there, they've decided, hey, we're going to lose.
Well, hey, there's no more perfect time for them to start to make these decisions of being sellers than when the Phillies are about to come into town. And we'll just go ahead and I'll bring my broom with me and we can sweep our way through Seattle.
I mean, the way they've been playing, that is probably what's going to happen. Unless you guys are looking too far ahead, then we might snag a game.
So my question to you is, where are we sitting?
I'm not sure yet, because I didn't buy tickets because I wasn't sure if you were coming. So that was one of those we had to wait and see just to make sure that deal was coming through. So I'll get back to you.
Yeah, I mean, I kept saying I was coming. I just had to finalize all the things. So
yeah, well,
finalized now.
But until those tickets are booked, it's like,
Yeah, I understand. I get it. And
plus, the tickets might have gone down now that they are playing post All-Star break.
And do you sit on the Seattle side or the Philly side if you're together? How does that work?
Oh, Seattle side, because he wants to be able to bark.
Actually, it won't matter because people in Seattle know who I am.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not good. It will surprise you, because it surprises me still. Like how many people be like, "Man, I follow you," and I'm like, "Really? Like you follow me all the way out here in Seattle? Man, your content's great." Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we all follow you, from a distance and all, but
yeah, I can see you over there with that mohawk. You know what I mean? You're the one that looks like one of these things is not like the other.
Uh,
So, all right, Chris, I will give it the quick shout out. Hey, Derek Hall, he is he didn't make history in AAA. He made history for the Iron Pigs as he is now the all-time home run leader of AAA Iron Pigs baseball. Yay. You know what I mean? That's what happened there. Nothing spectacular.
And of course, starting off with the magic trick of Jay disappearing and Stat Guy appearing. Yeah. So what are you guys gonna do there, Jay? What are the Astros planning on doing there? They gonna go find something helpful, or are they just gonna continue with the Mariners and kind of suck down the stretch here?
Yeah, I haven't heard any. Well, I think we're going to still continue status quo, honestly, because I have not heard anything of them. I mean, they said they're going to look at making moves, but I have not seen a damn thing. They need to look at getting more pitching, though, because the starting pitching they have right now, as you saw the other night with the A's, Bloss is inexperienced. He got tore up last night. Verlander, I don't know what's going on with him. He's still doing his rehab stint. So we got a lot of issues with our pitching, man. Even middle relief has issues. So they really need to pick up a pitcher. I'd love to see if we go get Trevor Bauer. That's not going to happen, but I'd love to see it. God knows we need him. But, yeah, pitching is really the biggest thing we need, man, and we just don't have it.
Yeah. Well, and, of course, the Mariners, we lose J-Rod also to 10-day injury. So and it could be longer than that. Tough to say, but it's definitely starting there. So basically, we're trying to get rid of our second best hitter, and then we don't have our best hitter. So we're out here trying to beat teams with a team average of like a 190. So that seems like it's going to go awesome.
Yeah, because in all honesty,
but not for nothing, Seattle still has the second best team ERA behind the Phillies.
Yeah.
Yes. The pitching's been amazing, no question.
Yeah.
That makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. I mean, it's funny that you have an ERA, a team ERA, like all the pitchers of like a 3.34 ERA, and you're scoring like 3.1.
Yeah. No, exactly.
So to be where you're at right now is actually pretty good. Because the problem is what happens is that when you guys lose like 8-0, that actually goes against you pretty badly because you have like your ratio of runs. Like I think you have negative.
Oh, no question. Yeah, I don't know what it is today, but I mean, for most of the year,
I'll tell you right now what it is. Give me a minute.
Their run production's been a deficit the whole time. Because when they lose spectacularly. They're just like, hey, we're just going to come out and throw some batting.
Actually, your run differential is 10. You actually have plus 10. You're a plus 10.
Wow. I mean, that's going to change over the next week, but yeah.
Not to change, not to say that the Rangers are at literally 0. And the Astros are at 42. Plus 42, by the way.
No, that makes sense because the Astros actually have good bats. It's just the pitching is struggling.
It's just a pitching.
If we were to blend these two teams together, it would actually be a good team.
Oh, it would be. Like Kyle Tucker, like they said he's 80% right now, but they're going to wait till he's 100%. I'm like, no, hell no. Listen, 80% of Kyle Tucker is better than most of the league. Come on now. Bring this dude. We need help, damn it. Mostly in the outfield because right now we're kind of getting thinned out in our outfield a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think we're going to be okay, but I just don't want them to do anything too drastic because we got hopefully we get Luis Garcia back at the end of the season before we go into the playoffs. That's a possibility, but I think next year we'll definitely have him back.
I'm actually very amazed at the fact that the Phillies have the largest run differential in the league. I mean, it's not surprising because they are the best team in the league, but they don't like crush teams.
Yeah.
So, but it's 110 is the run differential, followed by the Yankees at 108. Interesting stuff. And just so that you guys know, the Mariners are 3.5 games back on the wild card.
Yeah.
But obviously tied with Houston.
Yep.
So that's the big deal. You're chasing right now the Twins and the Royals.
The Houston has the tiebreaker, right? Because they
at the moment.
Yeah.
At the moment, we still got one more series with you guys. I don't know if it's August or what, but I know it's. We still have one more series
it's
with you
the
guys.
end of September. I think it's our second to last series, actually.
Okay, end of September. So I mean, there's still a lot that can happen between now and then.
Oh,
I
no
don't
question.
know if you guys really need to be sellers. I mean, I wouldn't be sellers. I mean, you may need an extra batter here and there, maybe, but
you may wind up as the seller in the cellar.
I mean,
that's how you played that one. Good job.
Yeah, no, it's fun with puns. Here we go. But yeah, no, it's sadly they really could be, because they lose their two best bats. Obviously, the pitching's been great, but you do have to generate runs sometimes to win games. It's kind of a weird requirement.
Dynamic. You got to score. You got to at least win 1-0.
Who knew, right?
Who knew that you had to score runs to win games?
Yeah. So I don't know. There's a reason why I said they were a 78 win team. There's a real chance they still could be.
I tell you, if they only win 78, that means they're at 103 games right now. There's 60 games left. Yeah. That means they are going to go. Really, there's 59 games left if they're at 103. So that means they'd have to win. They'd have to go 25-34.
And they have just gone 3-7. So that would track with that. So that legitimately could be a real thing, especially going over the next 10 days with France leaving town, right? Like that's a done deal. He's designated.
France is in France.
Yeah, he's long gone. And then you lose J-Rod for a minimum of 10 days. And then everybody else can't see the ball. In fact, I saw a highlight this morning, but it was one of those ones that was on Instagram. So you went to save it and then it disappeared forever. But I was going to try and save it because.
Don't you hate that? That's the one thing about Instagram that I cannot stand. Like you try to you hit something and you accidentally swipe down just a little smidge and everything changes.
Yep, and it's gone. And you're just like, come on, man, because you're never going to find it again because you weren't paying attention. So you're just like, that would have been a great video for this morning because it was literally all of the strikeouts from the last two games with the Angels, and it is ugly because they're missing balls that are right down the middle. It's almost like they're playing the least fundamental baseball ever. Just pull their head.
At what point do you blame the hitting coach and the coaching?
Oh, the entire time.
Right. So, obviously something should change.
Yes.
And is it ownership not changing it? Is it the fact that they feel comfortable enough? Is Bruner is the hitting coach?
I actually don't remember who our hitting coach is. But the biggest thing is the Mariners are an organization that don't actually care about winning. So they care about being good enough to put fans in the stands and sell merch. That has been their thing for 20 plus years. Like they're not going to spend the money. So is some of it on coaching? Of course. Is some of it because the coach's hands are tied also by ownership? It absolutely plays a role. So, you can't put it all on them. Every time we end up with players that you're like, okay, this person's going to be good. They're like, yeah, cool. You should probably go to a different team. So we are a really good developmental team. We don't like to keep them as soon as you got to pay for them.
Well, you paid for J-Rod early.
Yeah. We paid
and
for
he's a center fielder, right?
Yeah, but we paid for Cano when sometimes they're like, oh, we want a splash play, whatever, because it sells tickets, not because it's going to actually help you win.
So, but that all being said, let's talk about this then for a second, because I mean, the trade deadline is in 6 days.
Yeah.
It is the 30th this year.
Yeah.
There is no more, we're going to waive somebody and hope that somebody picks them up, pull them back, and then trade them that way. There is no more of that.
No. That's not even an option. Yeah.
So when you waive anybody after the 30th, they are off of the team.
Yes.
That completely. They don't go into any farm system or anything like that. So it's different now, much different than it was before, at least 3 years ago.
No, that's why I said France is gone.
What do you think is going to happen?
You know, if they keep pace with Houston, I can see them making a play for a bet. If they fall flat and Houston starts to catch fire, they sell. Because this division is you win or you're out.
Mhm.
And if Houston figures out how to play baseball and starts to create a little bit of separation.
2 years ago, it wasn't like that, though. 2
Well,
years ago, you had Houston and Seattle, and Texas was right there at the end. Same thing like last year. All three of you had the ability to be in the playoffs, and it didn't work out.
And they'll be in striking distance. There's just other teams that are playing enough better that unless these teams really start to turn stuff around.
Well, your problem right now is the Red Sox. The Red Sox are playing really well. The Rays are trying to keep pace. Talking about teams that are pooping the bed big time, Toronto.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They've been in
That might be the perfect trade partner for you guys.
Yeah.
Also the Cubs. However, the Cubs have made a little bit of a resurgence, have they not?
No, they have not. We lost fucking 1-0 last night.
Yeah, but
just absolutely not. Just
What position does Vladimir Guerrero Jr. play? Is he first base or is he outfield?
First, third, or DH.
Wouldn't that be a good one for you to trade for? Since you just got rid of France and he played first, why not try to go get that? Because I know there was a point in time where even Houston was trying. I think at one point, or there were links that they were going to try to go after.
He may have a no trade clause.
No, him and Boba are on the block.
Oh.
Because that would be a perfect one for you, Bo, to go get Vladdy. I mean, that would be.
What's he got? 1 year left on his contract?
Well, he's got 20. He's under contract through 2025, but then there's an option for 2026. I don't know if it's a player or a team, though.
It would be a lot of money for Seattle to be able to pick that type up, but you would wind up. You really could, in theory, rent him for this year and then put him back on the trading block again for next year.
Yep.
If you wanted to play that card. I mean, I know that Seattle was one of the top spots for Bellinger, possibly.
Yeah.
That being said, I mean, I don't know how I feel about that whatsoever.
You can have him, but he's not going to play till August 18th.
Yeah, but that would be okay. That would be okay. I mean, I know he's got that broken middle finger.
I mean, that would be roughly. It'd be like 5 days behind when J-Rod potentially comes back. So, I mean.
And you know what? After seeing not just the Pirates, who was the one that we saw before them? The guy from Oakland who did really well. I guess he was in the All-Star, wasn't he? He was the center fielder over there. Do you guys trade in division?
I have not seen a trade in division.
I mean, I don't know. Like, there are times where the Marlins and the Phillies are trade partners. The Nationals are not really trade partners with the Phillies because they don't like the fact that Philadelphia owns their stadium when we play them. The Braves, no. The Mets, people leave the Mets to come to Philadelphia. They don't trade them. They just let them go and we buy them. And we, like Wheeler. Wheeler, there's no reason why Wheeler shouldn't be a Met. No reason whatsoever. He is right now the best pitcher in baseball. Skins you could say Skins a little bit, but I don't trust Skins. He lost last night, by the way, 2-1. But it was only 2-1. So I mean, he did pitch a good game. But I mean, I feel like Skens is going to be a little bit more of a flash in the pan,
Okay.
But I mean, obviously the A's have a center fielder, so that center fielder is probably going to have to move to right field because you got J Rod there, and you're not going to move J Rod. You're going to move him over. But that bat would actually do pretty well. At least he's a home run hitter. You know what I mean? That's what he hits for power. He doesn't really do anything better than that. And I'm sure he's got a lot of strikeouts involved, but the Pirates are willing to move him.
Mhm.
The Mets may also be in the mix a little bit to try to. Well, although the Mets are in the wild card spot right now, so. But I don't think that lasts. I think that happens. Right now, there are 3 games in hand on the Mets to the Padres, and ultimately, I think that will squeeze more. The Mets ain't going to win all 3 of those games.
Yeah.
So the Cardinals, I still don't believe in. I think the Cardinals
the Cardinals have a negative 31 run differential, and they're 5 games above 500.
Yeah, that's interesting to me how that all works
Cubs
out.
Cubs are negative 9 in the run differential, and they're 5 games under. That's a 10-game difference.
It just means
a 40 run difference for a 10-game swing.
It just means that the games you're losing in a huge way.
Yeah, because if you think about that, the bottom of the division is the Reds, and they have a plus 34 run differential.
Yeah.
So the run differential isn't always something good to ascertain in terms of how your team is playing.
Mhm.
I mean, if you have a negative run differential of 170, though, your team stinks.
Or the White Sox at 196.
Yes.
Well, I said I did. That was the Rockies at 170, 193 for the White Sox because I think they won. Oh no, they lost 9 in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they've been getting killed.
No, they actually haven't. They lost 3-2 to Texas last night. They lost 4-3 to Texas.
I meant record-wise, not necessarily hits.
Oh yeah, like their last 6 losses have been by 3 of their last 4 losses have been by 1 run. So it's not like they're getting killed; they just suck.
But then think about this: you have the Rays. I mean, this is probably the strangest stat of they are 1 game over 500 with a minus 64 run differential.
That's a lot of runs.
It is a lot of runs. I mean, that means every time you lose, that means your 4th and 5th starter are getting shellacked.
Yep.
Oh yeah, yeah, they're getting smashed out there. You're losing games like 8-1
all the time on your 4th and 5th day.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how that's got to be how that's working because it doesn't make any sense otherwise. I mean, I'm trying to find something that looks anywhere near that. Yeah, it's just not. Oh, Paisan! Even though you're a Cowboys fan,
say it proudly.
Chow chow.
Hey, Bo, Randy Arozarena out there.
In Italy, it's fine.
He understands. He knows. When I say chow chow, it's hello or goodbye.
Oh no, I was talking about football in general. That's why he's a Cowboys fan.
But so yeah, I mean it's it's interesting to think like how this is going to start to occur here shortly. You know what I mean? Like it's only a matter of who is like they're talking about it now. Trade candidates.
Yeah.
There's 20 trade pitchers they're just talking about.
Oh, okay.
Crotchet from the White Sox. He's number 1. Crotchet, whatever his name is. He's 25-year-old starting pitcher. Got a lot of strikeouts, 3.07 ERA this year. Skubal.
Yep.
Yeah. First year arbitration eligible in 2025. He's 27 years old. Miller from the Athletics. I tell you, he's probably not going to get traded.
I don't think Oakland can afford to trade him this year.
Well, he's pre-arbitration eligible. and
Yeah.
that's the reason why it makes sense for them to trade him, especially going to a city where I think that ballpark holds 18,000.
Something like that. Yeah.
So, and they still will not sell out 50%. Blake Snell from the Giants, not $30 million a year for 5.83 ERA. Not me.
No.
Jack
Steve Harvey
Flaherty
is up
from
there.
the Tigers. That's a second pitcher on the Tigers. He's got a 3.13 ERA. 28, and he's a free agent after this year, so that's a rental. Kikuchi, is that how am I saying his name right?
Yeah, Yushi Kikuchi.
Yeah, look at me saying names right after Crochet. He's a free agent after this year, so it's a rental. Tyler Anderson, 2.91 ERA, free agent next year. Kenley Jansen from the Red Sox. Red Sox are in the mix. I don't know why they would trade pitching. This guy's got a 3.06 ERA, saved 19 games. So why would you trade that away? I don't know. But he's a free agent next year. He's 36 years old. Zach Eflin. That's an interesting name. He's not having the greatest year right now. He's got a 4.14 ERA. But he is a workhorse. He does get hurt sometimes. He pitched really well for the Phillies, and then he went for the money at the Rays. But he's a free agent after 2025, and it's likely that he is going to get traded. He's also set to go from 11 million this year to 18 million next year.
Yep.
But he's actually a pretty good pitcher. I wouldn't be surprised to see him even possibly come back for the bullpen in Philadelphia. Eric Feed from the White
Fetty.
Sox.
Fetty.
He's actually on the Astros. According to the article, he's actually on the Astros interest list. Him and Taillon are both interested.
Tell you what, Jameson Taillon is making a case to be the top pitcher traded right now after what he did again last night.
Yeah, and Astros need it bad, so I could see them making a possible trade for that for sure.
You know, some of these projected trade options are interesting, though, because you have ESPN saying that the Mariners should try and go get Kyle Finnegan. Well, I don't know why you would need more pitching. Like, maybe we should get somebody that can actually hit the ball. Let's do some of that.
Well, the Rays got a Rosa Reina on the block. He's an outfielder. That might help you as well.
But it's a small market team, and you see that all the time with the Rays.
Yeah.
Tyler
And then he's
now,
making like 8.1 million, I think, right now. He's looking for a bump, so that could be.
Yeah, like Blake Snell, Glasnow, Evan Longoria, Rosarena. Like every time their good players get to that final year of their contract is when they trade him away because they know they can't afford to bring him back.
Did you say Yimi Garcia is one of your in Houston?
No, it's Feed and
Fetty and Taillon.
Jameson Taillon.
This guy kind of looks to me interesting. It doesn't show how many innings he's had though, but he's part of the Blue Jays. He's got 5 saves. His K per 9 is 12.4, which means that he's striking out 1 1/3 batters per inning pitched. 2.48 ERA is actually, and the 0.76 WHIP is what I kind of like from that. He's 33 years old. He's a free agent, but he's a good rental. Again, we're only doing pitchers here. And Michael Lorenzen. Interesting. Like the Rangers have 2 names on this list. Lorenzen and who was the other one that I saw here for? Oh, David Robertson, but I don't trust him. And Kirby Yates. So they're thinking that possibly the Rangers could be sellers.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see the Rangers being sellers.
Yeah.
Really?
Ball could be on the block.
How do you become sellers? I mean, I guess that's my question. How do you feasibly become sellers after you just won the World Series? You're going to be like, okay, we won it last year. We're not going to try to do this run again. We're going to just start to retool and see if we can get back there by 2026.
By not having Scherzer for 3 months and not having DeGrom for the whole year. That's basically how you.
Did DeGrom just come back?
No, he's done for the year. I believe DeGrom. Scherzer just came back. DeGrom is done for the year because he had Tommy John.
Oh.
So losing basically 40% of your starting rotation. Losing Jordan Montgomery, who was also a major part of your World Series run last year, that's 60% of your rotation that you lost and did not do anything to replace it with.
Yeah, that was the same reason why I'm beginning to think that Atlanta. They just lost Fried for what was it? I guess maybe 10 days, which is only really 2 starts, possibly 3.
Strider's still out.
Huh?
Strider's still out in Atlanta, so they're not going to get him back, I don't think, till mid-August, if at all.
Right. Although, if it's interesting, though, they're staying afloat because, they are really the best of a bad bunch. It's when you think about the leaders in the divisions, you got the Phillies, who have the best record in baseball. You have the Brewers, who are playing well. But they're 5 out of the last 10, so it's not great. You got the Dodgers, who are still projected to be the World Series champions.
Sure.
After that, it's the Braves, who are not playing very well. They're 4 out of their last 10. Mm-hmm. Then it goes like the Cardinals and the Padres and the Mets. Like
it's a weird year.
It is. So they're the best of a bad bunch. And everybody is playing so poorly that the Braves are actually staying in the mix. Yeah. And if the Braves get people back towards the playoffs,
they could be good.
It could be scary. Could be scary. So we'll have to see. It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Yeah, for the Mariners, I'm really interested to see what it is they do. And I think realistically, it's going to be a couple of over the next, 5-6 games. If they go 1-4, they're sellers. If they go 4 of 5, they probably are buyers. That feels like where this team is. They're just waiting to see what these next few.
Who do you guys play?
We have one more against the Angels, and then we have the Rangers, I think.
4 games or 3 games? Do you guys play Monday against the Rangers?
Let me double check.
Because we have Thursday against the Rangers because we have off on Thursday, and then we play you guys. So you guys may have a Thursday game.
I'm sorry. We play the Sox. Actually, we play both pairs of Sox back to back. So we start with the White Sox and then have the Red Sox. And then
it's a critical time for you too.
And then it's you.
Literally, you can make that 3 games you're back right now on Boston. You can make that up if you can beat them. If not, then you're in purgatory.
Yeah. And we have to sweep the White Sox.
Right.
Absolutely have to. Especially as bad as we've been playing coming out of the All-Star break.
You should sweep the White Sox because by the time you play them, they're not going to have Crochet. They're not going to have Fetty. They're not going to have Luis Robert. They're not going to have Paul DeYoung and basically anybody else on that team that can actually do anything.
True, but we're still not going to have J-Rod. France is gone, and our best batter, I think, is like a 197 or something. So, not exactly fired up about our offensive production here. Like you got these guys better be leaning into pitches, is what I'm saying. They need to figure out how to get on base because making contact ain't it.
We'll pad your rib cage up real well. Just take a couple.
That's right. Just lean into it. Take it for the team. It'll be fine. Then steal some stuff.
Oh man.
Let's go to a break because I just saw something in the news that's going to make Jay very happy.
All right. Well, cool.
They fired Nick McCarthy?
Hey, he said he's going to make me happy.
Exactly. We'll find out.
No, it's not. Yeah, I was being facetious.
Oh,
right. See you guys on the other side.
This is Reggie Jones, owner and founder of Air Sports Academy. Air is based on the 4 core principles: heart, education, integrity, resiliency. AIR is about developing student athletes physically and mentally through training, mentorship, and effective marketing. We've created a platform and a blueprint for our state to shine in the brightest of lights. I created this program because it was a need for our state. We needed to have the light shine on the student athletes in our region. and now that is happening at an all-time and undeniable rate. We created a lane for the kids in our state to get their college education paid for and set their families up for future success. We created an environment where serious athletes can now come compete fearlessly. We've achieved this through our variety of elite programs. Our 6-month off-season program, where first-year starters or seasoned vets can all come develop. Our 5-on-5 program, which is all about our line. Our youth tackle program, which is the first and only youth tackle team from the state of Washington to ever win a major national championship. Our 7-on-7 program, which is ranked top 10 in the country every year. Our high school 11-on-11 club tackle program, which creates a unique and much-needed opportunity for our kids. Our college prep program, which allows our graduates to come back from college and prepare for their upcoming season. Our track and field program, which creates an opportunity for our young air boys and air girls to continue to get faster. When you're a national program, you receive national respect, which is why when you look at recruiting boards and top player lists from around the country, you'll always find players from Air on those lists. Which is why college coaches from some of the most prestigious schools around the country come into our facility to recruit our players. The Penn State, Alabama, Oregon, Stanford, Florida State, the list goes on. Our players are being recruited, offered, and committing to some of the top schools in the nation. The experience our players and families receive is second to none. We offer a competitive brand of sports at Air. We are the ball. And with that comes great responsibility. Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
All right.
You need to get that guy on our show. I would love to talk to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear some of the stories he's got to say about some of those kids and things like that. Like he's, it's I got to imagine that it's so diverse because he's talking about young kids all the way up to high school and even college kids, and how he's got to be able to balance that in such a way. But it probably makes a lot of sense on why you have like Washington and Oregon and stuff like that, teams that are out that way that have been doing really well, because you need and I'll say it like this, when Ridley, like the school that I graduated high school from, we had a very strong Pee Wee program. And that Pee Wee program went all the way to middle school, and then middle school would take over for Ridley, and then it would go to the high school and stuff like that. And it was just a very strong program. What had happened right when I was in my last year of Pee Wees, they had to dissolve for like 3 years our Pee Wee program because we were taking in kids from an area that was considered somewhere else. They lived much closer to where we were playing, but they were in Springfield and not Folsom. So because of that, we got banned for 3 years. And think of SMU. When SMU got the death call, they've just now are starting to get better, from that, and that's been 20 years since then, because SMU was a powerhouse for a long, long time. And then all of a sudden got that, the NCAA kiss of death, and you can't respond to that. That being said, I'd be interested to talk to him about a lot of I watch that commercial all the time, obviously.
Sure.
And it's just impressive to me that he's able to do that in such a way that it not only helps the Pee Wees, but also goes into the middle schools and high schools and stuff like that, and even some college, and how he's able to balance that.
Yeah. No,
so I got lots of questions.
Absolutely.
I feel like it'd be a good interview.
No, it would definitely be fun for sure.
Yeah.
What's the news you saw? What do we got?
So it says right here, report: Cowboys Lamb to hold out from training camp.
Yeah, I saw that.
is not expected to report to training camp Wednesday with the rest of his team, sources told ESPN Adam Schefter. Lamb, who also skipped mandatory minicamp, is looking for a contract extension as he enters the final year of his rookie deal at $17.9 million. Is projected to become one of the highest paid wide receivers after earning his first All-Pro berth in 2023, scoring 12 touchdowns and 1,749 yards receiving on 135 receptions.
It was nice knowing you, CeeDee Lamb. Have a nice day. That's what's going to happen. They're not going to pay this guy. You know, he they're not going to be able to pay him. They're the cap and everything.
I thought that was the one guy they might pay.
That's what I thought. I mean, that's the rumors I was hearing, that they were looking at possibly trading him. So they're going to have to. I mean, they can't afford that guy.
I mean, if they trade him, they're full on embracing the rebuild time.
Of course. I mean, I've already got that in my head that we're going to rebuild. So, I mean, that's why it doesn't really shock me. I mean,
well, yeah, but you try and look at it logically, and that is not the Cowboys. So that is not what they do there.
I understand. Well, you're right, and it's not. I mean, again, that when they gave all those three big contracts to Cooper and Zeke and them, they really set themselves back big time with those contracts, and that's what they're happening right now.
Yep.
You know, I mean, and if you get rid of CeeDee Lamb, why even hold on to it or pay Dak? I mean, if you're going to go to rebuild, just go for a rebuild. I mean,
well, I don't think they're keeping Dak just because he destroys their cap the next 2 years anyway. So then what? You're going to defer that? You're going to sign him to another big deal so that he ruins your cap for the next decade? Like, that probably doesn't make sense. So I could see letting him go. If you're now looking at not signing CeeDee, then you might as well trade Parsons too. I mean,
I was going to say, I mean, how much further down the road is he to being traded? I mean, in all honesty, I mean.
Plus, you're gonna get rid of your coach regardless, so you might as well just start this dumpster fire early and just make his last year as a Cowboys coach look as bad as we assumed it was going to be anyway.
Yeah. He'll leave worse than when he first got here. So, I mean, the question is when they do let him go, who are they gonna bring in to replace?
Oh no, it's Zimmer. They're just.
God, you really think that's gonna? God, I wouldn't even worse that on my worst enemy, Ricky Bobby. What the heck?
Just for the entertainment value, that's what it's got to be.
I'm telling you, man. I see purgatory written all over this.
Well, I see, like Wayne Kiffin. Is that what it is? Is that who it was? The little fat bully guy who was the coach for a minute.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I feel. I feel like that's what's coming. You guys are going into. I thought it was going to happen last year. I believe it will happen this year. Now, I was a year ahead, and it didn't come to fruition, but it's going to come to fruition this year. You guys are too much of a mess, and it's you guys.
I agree. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, and it's not hard to see we're a mess. Hell, look around.
Well, now that they're not getting these things done, I think it just becomes a distraction. So I think you guys are going to be worse than I originally thought you were going to be. And I didn't think you were going to be great, but I think there's enough off the field stuff happening at this point that it'll be a problem.
Some of it's going to trickle.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's, and I just get so upset when I think about how the Cowboys are going to stink this year.
It's okay because you know what? At the end of the day, you're going to go out there and play pretty good and still not get a damn thing. So it's okay. Fuck it.
Keep believing that. Because when we do, I'm setting a bag of poop and just going to have somebody sit it on your doorstep and then light the bag on fire. So when you come out and you step on it, you're stepping in shit.
That's just wrong. Now, why would you wish that on me?
Just send him a bunch of
emails. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell Mel, hey, Mel, please go check the door before I do. She'll take one for the team. She's good.
And then she'll take that bag and shove it in your face.
God knows she probably would, man. Be sleeping. No, she wait till I go to sleep and then she'd do that. I mean,
Get it all in your beard. Yuck.
Hell is this crap?
Or she would just grind it up and dump it in your alcoholic beverages.
Now, see, now,
that's-
why do you have to say that? Do we have to?
Yeah,
have-
that's
no.
no. She wouldn't do that. She wouldn't do
that.
that. That might give him like avian flu or something like that.
And God knows if my health this year has not been great. Come on.
Well, so USA Today puts out their prediction. So your Cowboys, they think are going to be an 8-9, which is probably about right. They definitely didn't love my Seahawks, though.
Yeah.
Whoever was,
I'll be honest. I looking at some of this, I'm like, all right. The Chiefs at 13-4, maybe. You know what I mean? The Bengals at 11-6. Yeah, I could see that. The Colts at 11-6. I mean, I like their coach. I like their head coach. For them to possibly get, be better than the Jags, I don't know. That's
This
gonna be
is
tough.
why I don't believe
The
that.
fact that they got the
Damn.
Texans so low.
I can
Yeah,
see
I
the
was gonna say,
Colts.
that's why I can't take that seriously. Because if you got the Texans at 9-8 compared to what they did last year, that's just ridiculous.
I mean, I can't take it seriously when they have the Jets winning the Super Bowl. So
No, that was the glaring
I
thing.
think- yeah, like
about this graphic.
oh, that too. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't get on board with the Texans. I definitely can't get on board with the Jets.
I don't like the Miami. I think
I don't
Miami
like that
is
the Eagles are
ridiculous.
that low, actually.
Yeah, 10-7 is kind of a surprise. I thought you guys would be an 11 or 12 win team.
I have us at 11 with the possibility of 12. I think the 10's just too low.
Yeah.
We have too much talent to only win 10 games.
Wow, they got Green Bay at 13.
Going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't.
Yeah, which doesn't make sense. They're not that good of a team. The Seahawk one cracks me up because there's no way they're going to be that bad.
That's not true. That is absolutely not true. You can't say that just yet. You got a brand new coach, new coordinators, a whole new system, a quarterback who's been very comfortable in the previous system, who's now not going. He's got to learn a whole new system at his age.
No,
So
I get it.
It's possible.
I get it. 5 seems too low based on the talent of the roster. Like they're going to accidentally win more than 5 wins, right?
One thing is they got the Chargers at 9-8, and they just lost their receiving core and Eckler. I don't know. I mean, what do you think about that one?
it's Jim Harbaugh though. Everywhere he goes, he wins. It's the Jim Harbaugh effect.
Yeah, and I mean,
everywhere he goes.
Yeah, I'll be honest. The 6-11 with the Raiders, I think, is off. I think that they could win like 9 games.
Yeah. No, I can see the Raiders being better than a 6-win team for sure.
Yeah, and I watched something the other day, literally, that somebody was like, "Hey, there's one team in the NFL that's going to go 17-0 this year, and these are the reasons why." And blah 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 blah. And if you like what I've got to say, follow me and blah blah blah. And that team is the Philadelphia Eagles. And I was like, they're not going 17-0.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, none of these teams are doing that.
No,
None. There's no team.
So this is Caleb Williams' first year.
Actually, the Chiefs. I feel like the Chiefs could go 17-0.
I mean, their offense should be significantly better. So, I mean, they well, like we were talking about the other day, if there was any team that had a shot at a three-peat, it's them. I don't think they do it, but they have a good enough team that they could do it. So sure, I could entertain the idea of them going 17-0. Their defense is still really good, and they added speed at receiver. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, if any team was going to do it, they're probably the only team that has a legit shot at it.
Do you think Chicago's going to have a winning record in Caleb Williams' first year at 9-8?
I do.
Okay.
I don't think they finished better than 9-8 because I think Matt Eberflus is still going to lose them some games, but
yes,
the amount of talent.
I find it very interesting that they have the Ravens out of the playoffs.
The amount of talent they gave Caleb Williams with DeAndre Swift and Keenan Allen and DJ Moore and Rome Odunze, I mean, they set Caleb Williams up in a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, again, my only issue with the Bears is what's that offensive line going to be? because he
Okay.
definitely has weapons. That defense looked a lot better at the end of the season. So, I mean,
Right.
they have nice pieces. Can they
And
keep
if he's
running?
going to be painting his fingernails, I got to imagine that there are just tons of guys that are going to be like, "Hey there, Missy," you know what I mean? They're going to be
For sure.
busting his balls the
Oh, yeah.
entire time. Any sack he gets, he goes, "Hi there, Missy. Your manicure looks great there, sweetheart."
Yeah, did you chip a nail? I could see it. I could see it.
They were not painted in his workout yesterday.
Yeah, but he already said there will be orange on home games and
Blue for road
one
games.
away.
Yep.
Yep. That's a cornball.
Just weird.
I
Just
don't
weird
know.
stuff.
I think anybody that hypes themselves up that much, I don't know. You better freaking come out and deliver, because if you don't,
Yeah, and I
Nobody
can't
helping
buy
you.
into the Browns over the Ravens. Like, I just
No.
I
maybe
can't buy into that one either.
maybe the Bengals have that kind of year, but I like the Ravens more than the Bengals. Like, I would have the Ravens winning that division, just because I don't
Actually.
like the
I
Bengals.
think that the Bengals win the division. I
do too.
think I even mentioned that before. I thought that the Bengals were going to win the division.
Yeah, it all boils down to Joe Burrow's health, because
Sure.
the only 2 seasons that Joe Burrow stayed healthy, the Bengals had a good season. The
Yeah.
seasons that Joe Burrow got hurt, they missed the playoffs. So if he stays healthy, I think the Bengals do have the most talented team in that division.
Yeah, I think the Bengals had a better defense than they
Right
do.
now, at least with Higgins on the team. Higgins ain't going to be on the team next
Yeah.
year. He's already said, "I'm not staying."
True.
So
The only thing I'm really curious to see about the Ravens, especially, is how they defend that offense this year with Derrick Henry.
Exactly.
Because you have Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry doing read options. How is a team going to figure out who they want to key in on in that spot?
They're keying on Lamar because nobody
Well, I
wants
know that, but I'm just saying, like, if you key in on Lamar and follow him to the right, Derrick Henry's going up the middle for 25, 30 yards every time.
Sure.
That's going to be, I think, the key is how teams kind of defend that combination in the backfield. Because if they can control the clock with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, their defense is good enough where they're not going to need to score more than 20, 21 points per game. They can just kind of hold the ball, take as much time off the clock as they need to, and just make sure they're getting to like that 20, 21 point mark.
Well, their defense isn't as good as
you
it was.
see a
last
lot
year.
of reverses happening. Was that what you're talking about? There's a lot of reverses happening there.
I don't
Or-
think I think it'll be like a lot of read options, like a lot of like Lamar Jackson gives it to Derrick Henry or vice versa. They line Derrick Henry up in straight wildcat and just kind of confuse the defense with a lot of different looks, because this will be the first time in Derrick Henry's career where he's not going to be the focal point of an offense.
Sure.
He's not going to be the focal point of carrying the football 35, 40 times a game, because you still have Lamar Jackson who's going to run it 10 to 15 times a game, which means Henry might only get 20 carries.
Yeah, but he runs it 10 to 15 times a game because he's going back to pass and he can't find anybody open.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest difference, which means that if he's going back to pass, Derrick Henry isn't the greatest of blockers. He also does not have the greatest of hands. So like that's one of those things where you're going to be pitching the ball to him sometimes, because I feel like that's what you're doing here.
Mhm.
You are running to the right to look like you're about to pass and then kind of throwing it back to him a little bit. You know what I mean? So that means he's got to catch the ball and then do everything that he does. He needs it in here.
Yeah.
That's
Needs to be
where
creative.
he gets it. He's never been somebody who caught the ball out of the backfield.
I just think if teams can kind of defend that, I think the Ravens are going to be more one-dimensional. But that's, I think, the first 5-6 weeks of the year, how teams defend their offense, I think will be the key. Because if they get off to like a 4-1, even 5-0 start based on how they get defended, they can play 500 football the rest of the year and finish 12-5 and win that division.
You know, hey, Stat Guy, so the Bengals got the 21st ranked offensive line. Do you really think that Burrow can stay healthy the whole season?
The year that they went to the Super Bowl, their offensive line was like 28th.
Okay.
It's just a matter of even if you have a bad offensive line, it's not a matter of that. It's a matter of how hard you're getting hit. Because there's times where,
if you're not blocking, you're going to get hit pretty damn hard.
yes and no, because there's times where Joe Burrow has like 5 seconds to pass and he can't get a pass off, so he kind of just backs his way into a sack and he takes the sack, and that still counts against your offensive line stats. Last year he got killed. Last year he got lit up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting because the Bears got the 11th ranked offensive line, according to PFF.com.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, they did sign some good offseason pieces for that offensive line. They're rumored to be in the mix.
Who's number one? Who's number one on the offensive line list?
Detroit Lions. You got
Yeah,
an
number
Eagles
two?
will come in at number 2.
Okay.
Lions.
Interesting.
Some of
Interesting
them
because
how
you know that the Lions have like 2 guys from the Eagles on their offensive line.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that's
Hey,
and they started to
Rob,
take
yeah.
some of that playbook away from the Eagles in terms of, hey, build from the trenches on. That's how you win championships.
That's true though. Yeah.
Short of a ridiculous quarterback. You know what I mean? A ridiculous quarterback changes some of that. That's because they have a good defensive line. They have a good defensive line in Kansas City, but that's just because Chris Jones. You take Chris Jones out of the mix, and that defensive line isn't as great. So
Absolutely.
never know.
They got Dallas's offensive line ranked at 10, but I don't know. Because they're gonna put Guyton in there, that rookie they got, and they lost
Guys, didn't they? I was gonna say,
Yeah, they've lost quite a few guys, honestly. I think the only one they really got left is Martin, and they got Martin's only really good when they have left. They got Steele, but Steele is not very all. I don't like Steele. He lets a lot go by him.
I mean, the PFF rankings are always kind of not
wonky.
Yeah.
A lot of their numbers don't make a lot of sense.
Exactly.
If they were consistent, I wouldn't hate it. But sometimes you'll look at it and be like, oh, okay, yeah, the eye test kind of matches this. That makes sense. And then other times it'll be like that where it's, your line is not the 11th best line. Let's be honest. Right. And Seattle, they had last, right? Dead last as far as offensive line. Or at least they did 2 months ago. Maybe it changed, but that offensive line isn't going to be that bad. But if you're basing it off of last year where the entire line was hurt, sure. Yeah, they're going to look terrible. So PFF is always just kind of a weird ranking system most of the time. But
yeah.
But at the same time, gives us something to talk about because you talk about how we agree with it or talk about how it makes absolutely no sense.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah. With my Cowboys, I have a hard time. It's going to be it's going to be a horrible year.
I am actually happy that they picked Minnesota to go 5-12 though.
Yeah.
One more win than you were thinking?
No, because anything better than that is going to be considered kind of a decent season, and it gives them something to build off of. Versus if they're predicted to go like 7-10, 8-9, and they go 5-12, then you're looking at now you're in a full blown rebuild. As opposed to if you go 5-12 and finish 7-10, you might be maybe this team isn't as far off as they think they are.
So you want the undercommit and over deliver approach?
Yeah.
I mean, you always want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you go from a guy like Kirk Cousins, who you've had there for 7 years, and now you're basically giving in Sam Darnold for a year and then going to J.J. McCarthy. I'd rather be predicted to finish with less wins and then finish with more wins, because then you kind of put yourself in a position like maybe Sam Darnold is good enough to keep you for a couple. If Sam Darnold goes 8-9 this year, now you're looking at a situation like maybe it's worth keeping Sam Darnold around another year and let McCarthy sit one more year. Versus if you go 5-12, it's like, well, time to go with McCarthy.
Yeah. And that gets us to the top of the show. Cruises right along. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. And of course, if you're on Roku, stay tuned, especially for the 1 o'clock hour. We have Justice Jones from the Iowa State Cyclones going to be on.
Nice. And do not forget, August 19th at 7 o'clock. Well, I guess it's going to be 8 o'clock at night, my time, Eastern time, 5 o'clock time. It is Tomahawk night.
Tomahawks. Let's do it.
I've already priced them out. I can find a girl for $20. Let's go.
Let's go.
Have a good day, everybody.